Hi everyone, we're going to continue with our video series on Promethean ActivInspire software, and today we're going to look at how to create an interactive diagram that has a self-checking component for your students to use. We're going to be using a couple of the browsers today, so if you've closed your browsers, the browsers are easy to get back through the View tab, View, then Browsers, and they populate on the left side of your page. Now we're going to start with the resource browser, which is our second browser. I'm going to go to the shared resources, and I'm going to do a quick search for life cycles, and I'm going to get some options down here. I'm going to take this simple frog life cycle diagram, and that's what we're going to use today. Now, in order to make this a self-checking activity for our students, what we're going to need to do is to put a particular type of shape onto the diagram that our students are going to use the pen to fill out. So I'm going to open up my Shapes tool on my main toolbar, and on my second column of shapes, which I access through this little double arrow, there's a particular shape called a call out. So I'm going to select the call out. The small color palette up here doesn't really matter because it doesn't have an interior, but I'm going to do a red call out and make it a little thick here. So to place the call out on the page, I'm just going to click and hold and pull over, and we'll do the same thing here. And then for the middle step, we'll go downward. Okay, so I'm going to turn off my shape tool by going back to select. And when I have a shape on the page, when I click on the shape to select it on my marquee toolbar, I get an option for edit shape points at the end. What that allows me to do is to adjust the length of each little shape part. So I'm going to do that. For each of these callouts. These will be the lines that the students are writing upon. So now that I've got my diagram set up, I'm going to go to the property browser, which is the fifth browser, and I'm going to add a label to each of these three shapes. So when I click on the first shape, the property browser populates a little bit, and if you look about halfway down the page, you get a section for the label. So I'm going to place a caption on this shape. My caption is going to be egg, because that's the first stage in the frog's life cycle. So right now, it's going to be an Arial font. The font size is going to be 12. So when I increase that, you can see that my label kind of populated here. So I'm going to place that right here. I can choose to make the background opaque like it is now, or I can choose it transparent, and then I'll only have the word. Okay. The biggest thing to remember here is the behavior. You're going to change the behavior from always on to tooltip. And it looks like your label is gone. It looks like it disappeared, but the tooltip reacts to the select tool. So anytime the select tool touches this shape, the label pops up. That way it's self-checking for your students. So I'm going to go through and complete the other two callouts. The caption here will be tadpole. And change the behavior to tooltip. And then the same thing for the last call out. Change the behavior to tooltip. And now what I've done is I have created a diagram that my students are going to be able to use, to write upon, and then to check when you're ready for them to check it. I'm going to close this browser. And as you can see, when I take the pen and I write, nothing happens because the tooltip doesn't react to the pen. The tooltip only reacts to the select tool. So my students can use the pen and they can write their answers without seeing the correct answers. They won't see the correct answers until I'm ready for them to see them, because then I would give them the select tool and they could go through and check each of their answers and see if they were correct or not. And that's how you make a self-checking interactive diagram using the resource browser, the shape tool, and the property browser.